Hello. There's something I wanted to hop on here and talk about real quick, and it probably might be a little uncomfortable for some people, but at this point, I don't give a shit. If you don't like uncomfortable, then feel free to exit. You know how like when a celebrity or, somebody of moderate importance will commit suicide and it's all in the news, and next thing you know, your Facebook feed is filled up with advice from people or exasperation from people, and you get all the posts for the suicide hotline numbers and all the little memes or the whatever and people's opinions and blah, blah, blah. Well, there hadn't been one in a little while, but there are things that I still see popping up in my feed, and there's something I have to get off my chest. Things like, even though people are well-meaning, and I believe and understand and absolutely know that a lot of people are very well-meaning when they post these things, but you have to understand how it is received by people who are at that point, who are suicidal, who are experiencing horrific suicidality, and it's taken over their lives, and their fight and struggle to live is a daily battle. The way that they receive those things is not the way that you intend them. So when you post something like, say, little sign on a bridge that says, when the pain doesn't go away, you just pass it along to someone else. Okay, so to you that makes sense. But to someone who is no longer able to preserve their own life, who has to fight to gain control over something that for most people is instinctual, what that says is that you should feel guilty. That your motivation for continuing to live has nothing to do with who you are and what you are in this world, and your value. It has everything to do with guilt, and you can't guilt yourself into finding a reason to live. Guilt over what you'll leave behind isn't enough to sustain you for the rest of your life. There has to be something more. And another thing that's really, really, really fucking irritating me is when people start posting the 800 numbers and they get really exasperated and they're like, get help, always reach out, there's always somebody. Like it's a one-time thing. Like you just have kind of like this passing phase, like, oh, tonight I'm feeling bad, I might commit suicide, blah, blah, blah. Like it's not a one-time incident. It's not just a thing that you kind of maybe pass by every now and then. Yes, a lot of people have suicidal thoughts, but that they never actually engage in or actually think seriously about. But for people who are truly, truly suicidal, that kind of shit doesn't mean anything. Because an 800, what are you going to do? Call an 800 number in the middle of every one of your crises? No. And I will tell you for a flat out fact, from somebody who has insurance, who has been battling this, and most recently been literally clutching at the goddamn door case to save my own life, from someone who is participating in every possible way to do everything I can myself to help myself. I'm going to therapy. I just got some medication. I am trying my ass off to use all of the skills, the techniques, the whatever it is to get me through a crisis when I'm going through it. But it doesn't stop it from happening. I'm clutching my way through this, and I have insurance that pays for most of it, so this isn't a huge burden on me yet, or my family, or people. It's not that big a deal yet financially. But what is a big deal is access, and quick access. Like if you are in some sort of accident and you wind up with a piece of wood in your spleen or something like that, somebody's going to get you some damn help. They're going to take you to a hospital where they're going to knock your ass out. They're going to pull that hunk of wood out, hopefully sew you up, give you some pain meds. You're going to be able to heal. But when people reach out their hand in absolute desperation, when they are doing everything they possibly can to help themselves, and they reach a breaking point, and they need someone to take their hand and get them some help, we don't know what to do. We're exhausted. We've exhausted every option that we have. We need somebody who's supposed to be sane and like in their right mind to try to figure some shit out. Even if you don't know what to do in a crisis to help somebody, figure it out. You have a phone, call somebody, Google something. anything that you do will be okay. As long as we don't have to think in that moment, as long as the pressure is off of us to try to continue to figure out how to get through this, and we are at the point where it has gotten so bad that we are no longer able to preserve ourselves, and we're telling you, hey, look, this is bad. I'm going to do something to myself. It's not a plea for attention. It is a literal cry for help. And so even if you don't know what to do, figure something out. Make them a drink. Bring it to them. Get them some chicken noodle soup. Pat them on the back. Do not talk at them. Do not talk at a person who is going through this shit. Do not try to inject your advice or your logic into a situation that is completely illogical. We know it's illogical. We know that the things that we're saying don't make sense to anybody but us. But the wheels turn so slow in mental health, and the options for getting the kind of drastic treatment that you need are humiliating. They'll literally, like, you fill out all this paperwork and you gotta have it all signed off, and then they cart you away. Maybe not in the truck with the, guys in the white coats anymore, but they'll put you in handcuffs in the back of a cop car and dump you off at a mental institution. And for a lot of people, that's humiliating. But I've been, honestly, recently to the point where I didn't give a shit. I was willing to surrender myself to somebody and just be hooked to a bumper and dragged to a place for all I gave a shit, because I knew that eventually I would be dumped out somewhere where when I got there, at least there'd be somebody who had some idea what to do. Even if it was shoot me in the face with a tranquilizer dart, let me get some goddamn sleep while they try to figure it out. And then when I got up in the morning, they might have a plan put together. Just stop yapping at people who are suicidal. If you want to be helpful, do some research. If you want people to know that there are options and that you care, do some research. Figure out a game plan. Try to decide what you would do and what kind of things you might look for in a person who's struggling. Let them know that not only is your door open, and that, if they need it, I hate the whole, if you need anything, call me. Well, that's great, because we all know most of the time that's bullshit. Your job is not to sit back and wait on somebody to reach out to you. Every now and then, because I promise you, every little thing helps. Every contact, every time somebody reaches out and just says, hey, you know what, I'm thinking about you, I love you. We don't have to talk, there's no pressure, whatever. But the things that really actually mean something are when you maybe call or text and say, hey, look, I really want to participate. I want to do something for you. What is something that's bothering you? What's something that's really hurtful in your environment right now? What's something that can help ease some of the strain and the burden of this that I can do? Even if it's getting a group of your friends together and going over to the person's house and, deciding on a day you're going to do that and say, you know what, I know you're having a hard time getting daily tasks completed. We're going to come over and we're going to have some pizza and some wine or whatever and put on some music, and we're going to get things cleaned up. We're going to have a good time. We're going to hang out. We're going to do your laundry. We're going to put stuff up. We're going to make the beds. We're going to get things cleaned up. We're going to unpack your boxes. We're going to, sit down, maybe do whatever it is that you need doing that's going to make your environment more comfortable and will help ease some of the strain or some of the anxiety in your world. What can I do? Because I'm here. I'm willing to help. What is it what need do you have that I can fill? Because I'm going to. I want to, and I'm going to. This is something I want to do for you because I love you and I know you need some help. And I know that, you're struggling to get things done. Do you need somebody to go with you to your doctor's appointment? Do you need somebody to go with you to, check on whatever your errands are, to help keep you accountable, to maybe keep you company, to keep your mind off of things? Volunteer a little bit of your time. Volunteer a little bit of your effort. Let them know that if they have a need, something that is causing them to be triggered, it's not going to fix the root of the issue, but what it does is gives them a safe enough and healthy enough environment and place and whatever to be able to accomplish things, or to feel like the environment that they're in is safe enough for them to be what they need to be when they need to be it. And I guess that's the end of my I don't want to call this a rant, because it's not a rant. I'm just trying to feed some people some information, because I know that there are well-meaning people. I know that people actually do care, and you just don't know what to do. But you also need to understand the reality of what it's like to get mental health help, what it's like to get real help, because in an emergency, for the brain, it doesn't work the same. And there is no other organ in your body that I can think of, no other injury that you could possibly have. If your kidneys fail you, they're going to send a signal to your brain. You're going to go to the doctor and be like, hey, my kidneys are screwing with me. And then your kidneys are off the hook. They don't have to fix themselves. Somebody's going to step in and do something. But your brain doesn't work like that. Your brain is the only organ in your body that can be afflicted, and then you're expected to turn around and try to heal your own brain with your brain that is already ill. You're not expected to heal your heart with your heart that's sick. You're not expected to heal your gut when your gut's sick. You're not expected to heal yourself with the part of you that's ailing. You're not expected to fix your broken arm with your own broken arm. But somehow you're expected to fix your brain with your broken brain? Are you fucking kidding me? Anyway, like I said, I don't want this to turn into a rant. I don't want it to be considered a rant. For people who are actually well-meaning, you need to understand how the things that you post and the things that you say come across. Because you're not going to guilt somebody into finding a reason to stay around that's not enough. The job of finding a reason is incumbent on us. We have to dig down and find out what the hell's going on, get to the root of it, fix the problem, work on it, and we're here, and most of us are honestly doing the work. There are some people who are just not taking an active role in their own wellness. But for people like me, and I know there's a lot of us, we're trying. We're doing it. We're doing the work. But in the meantime, when shit hits the fan, if you want to be a friend to somebody you know is struggling, then these are just ways that you can reach out. These are simple things that you can do or stop doing, because they don't help. So, anyway, didn't mean for this to ramble on so long, but I hope you got some good information out of it, and that you weren't too offended. Nighty night.